wherever you are in the world. I'll just wait for a few people to get on before we start. I've still got one video to do, and that's the Pisces. I was counting last night and I was like, I've missed one. So yes, I still do have to do the Pisces. It's been pretty hectic. Just wait for whoever's awake in the world here in Australia for the people in America to be awake. So good morning. How are we all? How are we transitioning through this twin flame journey? Are we awake in the world? Where are we in the world right now? Hi, Giggle Glimmer. Hi, Marie. How are you? I don't know. I had one very disgruntled twin message my YouTube account. She's like, you told me. Divine timing. Oh, living the dream. Yeah, I've been, somebody asked me a question today. They said, why are your eyes so dilated? Look, a combination of coffee, trying to get so much done in such a short space of time. I think Divine Feminines, due to the dynamic of what's happening in this situation, we're really trying to cram into such a short space of time unfinished business, even if energetically we really can't be fucked, quite frankly. But nevertheless, the old comment, I don't adult, well, Divine Feminine has been adulting for a very long time, and some of that had gone by the wayside, and I think we're picking up pieces. We're picking up loose ends and getting our hands getting done to have that forward motion. So how of us with this direct situation right now? I'll read some comments out so the people who watch this later are aware of the comments. You'll probably find the internet is working a little bit better. Please confirm. I had to turn the modem off several times. And if this doesn't work, I don't know what's going to work. I had several Skype readings today, so that was flowing correctly. Although Jen found my Skype the night before quite amusing because it looked like I was on some slow motion video. No one's typing. I hear your pain. Financial constraints, yes, but we're needing to, I am getting those cards soon and we'll be able to use them. Hello, Elizabeth, how are you? Been doing internal work. Now, with that internal work, it's definitely with the shadow period, a lot of what we're going through has been really doing some internal work. So look, listen to heart chakra. Try not to get, how do I put it? Try not to unblock every chakra because a lot of it will be quite emotional. A lot of us will be going really deep. And there's been lots of questions coming through, really. Lots of debate about who's ahead in the journey. Are we at the same level? Yes. To the situation, and be it you choose to be in union or choose not to be, which I'm yet, to really do more research in that. But definitely speaking, there's been several waves of twins. I told my twin, I'm sorry, I cannot continue to contribute energy to, is going to continue. I'll keep reading once the message comes back up again, because it kind of flashes in and flashes out. If I'm on the computer, it's different. We do have it, but I haven't set it up yet. Okay, so here's all I can explain to help us gain clarity in this given fucked up situation. You haven't been available. Well, look, Whenever you're available, day or night, hit me up and I'll be able to tee it up. There is a lady that inboxed me tonight, and she's asked, and I can work around your availability. So although there is the availability set on the website, I can always tee it up where I can do that. You guys work with the direct blocks, channel into what I'm seeing. Divine timing is at play with these situations, and it's one of those arsehole things. We can't get up in our heads, and a lot of this month is directly connected to ego. So it's where we do have control, where we don't have control. How we can look at those aspects and how we can directly apply energy to situations. It's going to be major trigger points. So it may be we're being, too in ego to bite our pride and make contact and have communication. That's for either side, or depending on the given situation, because there's several waves of twins that are dealing with separate energies, but completely speaking, we're all unhashing a major block. So it has been probably through April. It's almost, I would say, the dark night of the soul, although it can be in degrees to that degree. But it's a major block, and that's really what's come through in the zodiac going on. So what you'll find is heart-related and karmic-related energies shall come through, and that can be a real horrendous energy to go through. So, we question every aspect. Now, those of you who were in direct union, you may find that suddenly, the whole situation does a 360. And they end up in some aspect of karmic related energy. This can be with karmic partners, this can be with karmic related habits and old ways of doing things. Now, it's actually there, and both sides will be experiencing this to a degree, but in different parameters. I'm going to start sneezing from these rose candles. So it can be to the point where you're looking at it and you do need to very much detach. So for those of you who that energy is relevant, many twins will be saying, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm sorry, I'm. So you have to understand it's an aspect that is helping you unblock a block. And look, regardless, twin aside, the energy are all physically going through right now is directly connected to a major block that we've had. Now, sometimes through life, especially being awoken, you become more used to actually doing that work and purging that shit. But this would have been a major block that directly dealt with. It comes up as a nasty surprise, but it's the only way to trigger you out of that block. Yeah, and I'll explain why it's happening that way, Giggle Glimmer. Okay, ultimately speaking, a lot of the journey we tend to place emphasis on the twin. And whenever we hear this, we're all like, oh God, yes, I know, I've got to look back at me. Now, on a purging level, what we need to understand is a lot of them are saying, hey, your vibration's got to be high. What else do they say? Okay, reality speaking, how do you purge? Now, that can be anything from crying to experiencing the emotion to smashing shit, being angry, maybe I'm from a place of ego. Then you can get grounded to a point where you use spiritual tunes to help purge that, lyrics to express that, and you go through the motions, and you'll go through those things, say, of emotional healing. Now, this wound that is in both feminine and masculine as a collective is a very large wound. And it will directly stem right back to childhood. But it's one of those blocks that you acknowledge it's there and directly you have dealt with it. But this is almost like the death of ego. So the only way I can describe it is an aspect whereby you are blocked to a point where that frequency or aspect of consideration. Okay, I'll explain it. Twin is not a natural partnership. It's a very unusual partnership and dynamic. So through your journey, you would have found in the initial stages, people would have said, what are you doing? Why is this person dance? Are you stupid? Why haven't you purged that? Why haven't you correct? So you got to a place where people would not understand your belief system in the dynamic of the twin connection, which is relevant. Then you get to other stages where, you know, you question your beliefs, you go back and forward, and then back again. Now, twin comes back when you release ego, and this will be relevant for all of you. You'll notice these signs where you'll feel that you've finally got your life on track, and life comes to a point. Hello, Danielle. And then suddenly, twin comes about, be it in the shape of contact, be it in download syndromes, or in the 3D physically. Now, this comes about. Am I breaking up? Am I? Am I breaking up for everyone or just on your side? Okay, 1 minute. Bloody internet. I may have to replace the modem. Better now? I'm using my own internet credit. So if I cut out, it is what it is. I'm doing my best. Still breaking up. Now is it better? Sweet. Okay. Fingers crossed. Now, okay, so I've got to remember where I was now. Gosh, I talk a lot of shit, don't I? Okay, so in an aspect, when you look at that dynamic, whenever it gets to a point where you have spiritually purged a situation and released, that's when twin comes back. Now, it's due to your spiritual growth. It's your spiritual contract, and it's fucked, but it is what it is, okay? So when you come to me and you say, hey, give me a time, hey, I can't. I can tell you that this is a journey that is directly related to you. So whenever you have a sense of separation, you need to place the emphasis back on self. The quicker you do the work, the quicker the flow of situations will flow. There is always a block within you as to your twin. Now, on a frequency level of who's further ahead, there's always been great debate about that. When you look at the dynamic of when the first union came, you would have seen, energetically speaking, the stronger energy would have been masculine, and whoever holds that physical energy. We directly hold both energies, but who at that point, generally speaking, it was masculine who held the energy as such. Now, they triggered us by them leaving. That made us go into a tangent of emotions, which would have been back to childhood of, gosh, abandonment related issues. Now, masculine was experiencing the same energy, but in a different way. So their energy would have been leaving the situation. We'll talk about karmic in a moment. I'm just trying to explain this first. Now, directly connected to the reason the initial stage of connection ended, you both energetically would have been thinking it because your frequency was not aligned correctly. Feminines would have been coming from a place of abandonment and fear, and perhaps, you know, the old paradigms of traditional relationships: white picket fence, children, man's the hunter and gatherer, you know, and the woman in her direct place. Whatever you want to say, your aspect, your mindset of a traditional relationship. Now, the masculine, however, due to his childhood related issues, living the dream, Angela, the masculine would have been doing the same thing, but for just a different reason. So the masculines at the point where they were reaching a connection with you would have been going, holy crap, I'm so going to avoid the aspect of my family, my mother, my father, or my kin related dynamic. How to the no am I going to live that shit? Does that make sense? So ultimately speaking, you would have been coming from the same perspective. And again, it's an aspect of a wall. So the masculine's energy was, wow, I'm not going to hurt you that way. So although in a way it did hurt you, it actually saved you to a degree, something that they weren't actually physically ready to give you, because it is an act of a sense of a responsibility, but aspects of responsibility are old paradigms. They're ways in which we think things of the old traditional value system. However, twins aren't old value systems. Those things are what is breaking away in society, because and I'll explain why. The frequency is, so as a collective, we are soul beings filling our own cup, to a point where we don't live in fear, because our childhood related dynamics have actually traveled through our lifetime to a point at serious intervals. We had to purge those factors. Now, if they were very heavy related energies, for some twins at childhood, there might have been, and I'm just going to be outright with it, there might have been, abuse of some relation, alcohol related issues, broken families, sometimes molestation, whatever that was in your childhood, it triggered a stage of situations, okay? So some of us may have blocked situations out. Some of us would have just formed an opinion directly to it. Many of us would have tried to recreate that in a better sense. So our mindset connected to how we looked at our parents and what was lacking, we then tried to manifest in every connection we had, okay? Now, with those connections, it was an aspect of learning. So it wasn't like we went into relationships and said, hey, I mean, for me, I can tell you, I didn't know I was a twin till about 2 years ago. I deemed it as a spiritual soulmate connection that was very deep and out of this world. So I really didn't know what it was and what the path was, and that there were similar people like yourselves out there going through the same shit. So thank you. I don't feel so fucking alone and mad now. With it at the moment, those of you who were in the connection and doing the work, you would have been dealing with communication related issues, how to break down those barriers, really breaking away the past tense hurts and how to directly deal with your twin and understand their language of love or their language of understanding, and trying to not trigger each other, and understand it wasn't essentially that you wanted to trigger them or piss them off or they piss you off or hurt each other. It was just different ways, but the same situation. So you're both coming from the same perspective, but ultimately you're experiencing it in a very different way. Now, the reason for those of you who were in the dynamic working directly with twins, so I'm addressing these groups of twins at the moment, many of you, and please do tell how many all of a sudden did a 360 and have ended up in karmic relationships. Let's get an idea of how many of you have experienced that are on here, because we've only got 29. And I mean, anyone who watches this video later, please do write how many are in karmic situations, because this can help us break down where we see that we're not alone in a trend of situations going on. So how many of us right now have been in direct contact with twin? Just write yes, karmic, and then we'll get an idea. No karmic, okay. Don't know. It'll be more for those of you who were directly in the connection communicating with twin. Okay. The rest of you, it can be a karmic related energy. Now this can be, it's not all going to be the same. So it can be a physical person if that's a physical block. It can be trigger points connected to alcohol, connected to gambling. What else? What else was I picking up? It's a karmic related energy. Okay, you're in direct contact with twin. How is the energy flowing with your personal twin? Yeah, there you go, alcohol. So because the triggers and the way the retrograde is coming through, it's caused very distorted energies coming through. So probably from February, a lot of the energy has been up and down. So it can be in and out, or contact, no contact. Very confusing energies. A lot of purging going on both sides, be it in contact or not in contact, probably heavier in the last 3 months. So how many of you have been experiencing that? And how many of you in contact sense has been quite mental blocks because of past hurt patterns and all? Okay, is that for you or twin? Because both of us will be experiencing it. Okay. Now, in your opinions, what issues are coming through with your direct twin, in your opinion? Karmic. Okay. And look, karmic can be physically a separate partner or your partner, children. Children can be karmic. Workplace, if they're chained to employment, can be karmic related energy. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now where is your personal energy coming from? Like, what are you in your personal life directly dealing with? Let's see a synchronicity. Because they're directly connected to the karmic. That's why the children can be. So it depends. If they've actually purged that energy of what they held with the karmic, they can say they're disconnected, but the energy can come through in the children where it's mirroring the energy. And if they haven't purged that, the children in the dynamic can directly trigger the twin because they haven't healed that aspect of the past. And that can be on both sides, either sides. So it can, not necessarily, not at all times. I'm getting high off this rose aroma. Whew. It's definitely clearing the sinuses out. So does that make sense? Sometimes it can be a trigger point. Self-worth for you personally. And that's another thing. We need to not get confused connected to, finances, getting toxic ex-husband out of my life, kids that were abandoned by their dad, dealing with their emotional issues. Okay, now what are you doing with your energy physically to place that energy back on self temporarily? And it should be at all times like that. Okay, now self-worth. Now, again, it's ego-based because if it's directly connected to twin hasn't chosen me, just saying, okay, you need to take your power back. Again, finances and heart chakra are directly connected. Love, okay? Love and finances, about the receiving, about the giving and receiving being balanced. That is directly connected to heart chakra. And what do I call it? A sense of personal value. Good luck with your son, Trish. I hope it goes well. I can't pronounce your first name, but your last name's Eve. I'm very proud of you. High five. Yeah, well, if you need to and it's not at that correct vibration, releasing it is necessary, okay? So, it's just shift the energy back onto yourself. Try not to enable. Definitely one thing I have noticed through my personal journey is where the give and take was not in balance. And definitely, in a way, that is an aspect of feminine being in codependent energy where, we can't fix the world. We can fix our physical world, and that's actually our job. And that's where the energy needs to come to in a spiritual sense. Look, more you're probably purging your value connected to your family. So you've got to look back with this trigger point coming up with you, SL12. It will directly be connected to family, a childhood, and your belief system, as well as a previous relationship prior to twin. And then, of course, it would be twin connected as well, but it goes right back. And that's why at the moment, all these blocks are coming up like seeping wounds. It's very true. We don't need to enable people because they have the tools in life. We can have compassion. We can definitely get to a place where we can emotionally support, but we do need to get to a place where we're not giving that power away. And that's actually taking their power away as well. It's stopping them believing in themselves that they physically have the tools to deal with this adversity. And really, that's what masculine taught us. And that's why we are where we are right now. So like I was saying, in the beginning stages, masculine really held the highest vibration, which then upon leaving, challenged us. And due to us having to utilize our skills in life, it's built us to a place where we've had to be self-reliant. We've had to do things. I mean, I can honestly tell you this fortnight has been fucking shit. I mean, I've been doing this for years. This is divine feminine with balanced masculine energy. But anything from mowing the lawn, getting the house ready, running the business, I mean, I've been in it neck high. But it's nothing you're unable to accomplish. So, you know, you've got to focus on your friendships, you know, focus your energy back on yourself. You know, get out, go and do things that are valuable to you. It's about that aspect of self-worth and what you're entitled to and just knowing your worth. So try not, I know many of you, especially the ones early on in the journey, you're going, oh, my mask. It's okay. Calm down. Calm down. I totally get it. I've been there myself. But the quicker you switch the energy back, the quicker you move forward. But it's us breaking patterns too, because this is where the journey began, is for us to purge those aspects from childhood. Okay, now those of you that had this situation happen, it was energetically geared. Number one, for you to own your power and stand in truth, connected to what you personally believe is correct. But had they said you want to break, you would have held on. But with the trigger that big, returning to a karmic, it made you physically, for those of you who are further on in the journey, say, hey, heck some beast, this shit's done. Does that make sense? But again, energetically, you need to get to a point where you say, hey, that's not okay. But that's owning your worth again. And, you know, the reason delays happens of you not stating your needs is because there was a trend, and it'll be connected to mum or dad in the initial stage, you being an empath, picking up on their signal. And then it would have moved to the secondary stage of being in a relationship, perhaps for many of you before twin. And then the twin related dynamic of the, you know, removal, and they've gone off and people are going, oh, they're narcissists. But you're to own your power. And it's because of past tense triggers, you know, that goes right back, that your belief system was formed where if you spoke up, there was a consequence. Now, yes, with twin, that is relevant. But the quicker you step into that parent state, hey, no, sorry, not okay, that's where you're owning your power. And be it they choose to retreat, energetically, it's scared where you come back together regardless, because it's that asshole journey, that you're better off emotionally to accept that aspect of your truth. But when you're not owning your truth, it places you backwards. And it is very frightening to own that, especially when you've learned from a very young age that you don't have a right to have needs, wants, and desires. But you have to put you on that top shelf, or energetically, it does actually impact the journey. But this is not, how do I put it? Okay. Then why are you still watching this video? We, as people spiritually, are able to evolve. But narcissists cannot change. Yeah. Okay. Can us as souls change? Is this a traditional journey? I can guarantee you, how many of you have had situations happen that you thought, why with this person do I continue? How many of you have not quit? So you're writing on here that the partner's gone back to karmic. So mentally tell me why you haven't quit. Because this is what the journey's supposed to be about. It's pushing you beyond what you feel. And I'm not saying tolerate it. That's not what I'm saying. But who hasn't made you through this journey? You can't, because again, it's an aspect of ego. You don't have to. It's all a spiritual choice. We do have a choice. But emotionally speaking, it is, well, yes, it is, and no, it's not. We can purge that aspect. Codependency comes on both sides. So your partner, your twin, could be in codependency, yet aspectly speaking, the tolerance leading up to that fact can be an aspect of you being codependent as well. But the reality is the connection is a spiritual connection. It is not, they state it's not worldly. Yes, okay, true. But look back on the other situations in your life. That's if you've had previous relationships. And where would that relationship had simmered out and have gone? So you have karmic related, soulmate, and twin flame. Twin flame is all relationships have karmic related dynamics in them, but physically, it's because you're learning unconditional love. Because we are all human and we are all flawed. And to realize that, you do become angry at yourself, but as long as you're owning your power and your truth, and you're releasing that aspect so that person can evolve and heal, an aspect of that quality coming through in the person, be it in feminine or masculine, however that relates, that has to be purged because it's a wall. It's a wall used in order to avoid connection until they can remove that themselves, because it's an aspect of protection to deal with you directly. You stating things and being in your energy, energetically speaking, triggers them to look in the mirror. And that's all you can do. And that goes both ways. So stop looking at it as just 3D, because it's not 3D. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, what this journey entails for me, that's my path. So some of you would have been on shorter paths, energetically get there a lot sooner. Others of you will be going, and you know, it's not that you can't be angry, but what's going on in your life? I mean, for me personally, what has transpired for me, yes, it's been very hurtful, but ultimately speaking, I had to focus energy back on myself. And that's really whatever my journey is going to be mine. But the mindset connected to it. It is a spiritual connection, and it's for them to own that truth. It's for them to understand that process, and you can't make them. You can't just say, hey, you're my twin flame. I mean, if they ask you, fair enough, but ultimately speaking, it's a spiritual path where that person has to actually understand that dynamic and choose that path. Otherwise, you need to live your life, and it's the more you get into that energy, it is unconditional to a point you can, and this is why they say twin flame journey is so important, is because the traditional realms of relationships are changing, and they're very much like I was saying the other day. This is the cup. I've married you. I own you. That's you can't own a human being, okay? But because the old ways of viewing relationships was, I have a marriage certificate, I've married you, that means X, Y, and Z. And you become complacent that because you have that situation there, that it's a given and you're safe. Does it mean that if you have a house, suddenly because you have a house, it's safe and nothing ever bad's going to happen to you? Again, it's a 3D mindset that is not reality based. People cannot describe and understand the fact that these are their old paradigms, their ways we look at things. But in truth, how many people have, terrible dynamics going on in these situations? Yet there's a spiritual connection with another person that might be rich or poor, happy or sad, bad or mad. Yet ultimately speaking, it's changing all of our frequencies to interact with other human beings, not just twin, but every other person, to get to a frequency where there's that love for self and flexibility to understand we're all different. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying with the cup though? Do we have any questions? Do you want me to tune into anything right now with these great blocks? It's something they have to purge. When there's dynamics like that, it becomes problematic. It's something they energetically need to directly deal with, in a sense of, if you have a twin and they're dealing with their ex and the dynamics there, best bet, put that aside, let them deal with that, because energetically, that's their spiritual road. And if that process is still toxic, it's going to cause problems, because ultimately that's something they should have dealt with prior, so that that energy was flowing neutrally. And sometimes it can be problematic, but they will actually have the tools in life to work on that. I would say until mid-month, we are in a shadow period. So any dynamics of karmic related things coming up, blocks being purged, it's happening all the way through to mid-May. Okay, well, what are you dealing with right now, Laura? Emotionally, what have your feelings been? What's been coming up emotionally for you? They're your blocks. If you've been up in your head about a given situation, it won't just be twin, it'll be your feelings. Now, you can say it's about twin. Your feelings at the moment, well, mine was, when will you choose me? But then, really, ultimately speaking, how do you put it? It's not really a choice. It does, at all paradigms. This universally is, okay, I want to know, yielders, in the largest sense of what is the purpose of twin flames, like universal speaking, if it implies. To change the frequency so that we're not so judgmental towards each other. We're all putting each other in boxes like little cookie cutter homes in England. We are not all the same, yet we are so judgmental to the point where we have to be the same. I mean, I purged some friendships. Am I an arsehole for it? No, it's what I thought was correct. Do I hold them valuable? Yes, I fucking do. But do I need them in my life right now? No. But it doesn't mean to say that those memories weren't relevant, and they're important. But right now, spiritually, where I am, I'm going through lots of purging. I've got lots of things going on. I'm being truthful. It's not that I don't value who they were to the core. But again, it's the unconditional. You can hear that people are talking shit about you. Do you accept it? No, I don't. So I chose, and it's the same situation. But energetically, we need to not be an ego. We need to come from a place of love and understanding. So we have to just accept that. We have to change. The more we look at the outside and say, hey, you need to change, you're wasting your time. You need to change and lead by example and be the bigger person. So as you do, it changes the frequency of everyone. Now, you'll look at voting, for instance. When were women allowed to vote? That has taken a long time to change. Now, these trigger points in human beings are coming about to change the frequency. So our minds change because our minds are ego driven. And by changing that dynamic, we change the way we interact with people. I know directly in Europe, if someone's husband or breadwinner died, everyone helped each other. But the way we are spread out in society now, it stops us doing that. And we're too judgmental to the one-parent families, all of those dynamics. It's changing the way we are, but it is for the other side. And it does mean that we are old souls and we're repeating till we spiritually grow. So that, ultimately speaking, what are you wanting from your life? Are you not wanting to be in peace? Ultimately, that's what I'm looking for, a peaceful connection, a happy, peaceful connection. Am I driven by money? Ultimately not. Yes, it is. Mermaid wishes it is. The ups and downs at the moment, it is probably lighter, but it comes in waves. And look, as I said, I had pulled the cards before to gain some clarity. There is very much energy changes all the way through to June, July. And I was picking that mid-year is where the hard yards are, and then the flowing effect from there on is very different. There is forward motion, so to speak. So it does feel a lot of internal purging going on in different shapes and forms. Doesn't mean to say it's going to be heavy like this all the time, but definitely speaking, it changing, so to speak. By mid-year, it should start moving forward a lot kinder. I'm fingers crossing, but that was the energy I tuned into. When we own our power, we need to realize, feminines, that, okay, what do you deem as better? What are you wanting to be better? I'm going to try and do some workshops on how we can actually do our personal work and where we need to do, work on us. And look, it could be anything from something random that'll give you a dare. So you're actually getting your mind off simply your masculine and placing it back on yourself. Yeah. Oh, look, I had a Intuitive Perceptions, big shout out. He called me at about, oh God, what time was it? Cheeky, 4 o'clock in the morning, but they know I'm awake day and night. And I was sitting out on the veranda having a smoke, and I was sitting in the dark, and I was just looking at the moon. And he called me, he goes, Yildiz, I'm going to go live. And then he went, where are you? And I was in the dark, and he goes, what are you doing? And I went, I'm purging. And I was just sitting there in dead quiet having a smoke, looking at the moon, going, You do have your moments. You have your moments. Look, some nights I had a few aha moments last week, and I can tell you 48 hours I didn't sleep. That was interesting. Thank God for Turkish coffee and caffeine and being pissed off. It does amazing wonders, and I have lovely, entertaining friends that I talk to. Oh, well, I had a horrendous time. I had to take the bloody... I have a trampoline here. My daughter is not here, and there's no reason for a trampoline to be here any longer. Yes, well, look, habits can come up quite hardcore, like habits that were purged can come back, or habits that were slight can increase. So in this shadow period, and probably from February moving through to where we are now, it can be anything from excessive gambling to again, alcohol, drugs, overeating, undereating, just any excess back and forward. It can be very, very heavy for everyone as a collective, because we're purging. And so what do we use? Band-aids. And when we use Band-aids, we rip them off and then they bloody hurt. And that's what's going on with us. It hurts. Feels like shit. And those of you who aren't purging at that level, I wish I was you. Well, I found out yesterday that I'm very iron deficient. It should be 14 or 13 and it's 2. So I'm having tablets for that now. I was wondering why I kept having to have naps. I thought it was my antihistamine. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Basically speaking, the more you come, mine, I was getting to a point I was wanting to eat more, but that's because I had no iron. So no matter what I was doing, I wasn't retrieving the energy. I do eat quite a vegetarian diet. Yeah. High five for that one. And everyone's probably going, what are you saying? She said she lost a lot of weight through this purging process. Yes. Yes, people were accusing me of doing something. It's like stress, working too hard. Although I used to do 6 to 12 Ks a day, and I do eat incredibly healthy. So there is that relevance. And I do hold divine masculine and feminine energy where I do everything. So even down to changing a car light globe and oil. Oh, well, I can do some recipes if you like. Yes, I had a lovely lady called Debbie, and I used to babysit her children when I was young, and she was a lovely neighbour I had, and she taught me how to make Indian curries from scratch. And I had some Asian friends, and I learned how to do a lot of Asian food. I love spice. How do you know if you're a twin flame? Now, ultimately, I will never tell you who your twin flame is, because spiritually, in divine timing, you will know. Now, with the twin connection, there'll be synchronicities connected to it. And I guess in a way, okay, basically, there will be one or another parent, be it kin or biological, someone who we deem as kin, who will hold an energy that is similar to your twin. So that's one hint. So what you'll find is the one where you had to intuitively tune into, that might have been a little bit more difficult. In my case, it was my father. I love you, Dad. Gee, you were my best training. That was where my frequency changed, and you then form an aspect of empath. Yeah, mid-month it should start lifting, love. I'm optimistic. Roll with it. Everything happens for a reason. It is, as they say, it is all divinely guided. Okay, so you've got to tune into which one of your parents directly was similar to the person you're sensing is twin. Now, another aspect is that, you know, as time travels, they might pop up in your mind. And I mean, traditionally, you can have people that do that, but this is a certain person. And then they can just pop up out of nowhere, in and out, depending on how long you've been on the journey. Another aspect is your intuition connected to them, and a deep spiritual connection you're sensing within them personally. I usually gain more clarity around a full moon, and we have a very big full moon tonight. There you go. So now you know who your twin is. You'll know directly because there'll be aspects, but the more intuitive you become, they're the ones that would have triggered you. Look, my father was very quiet. I intuitively knew what he was thinking when he was thinking. It wasn't he was. Oh, look, I'll just give you an example, and he'll laugh about this. I mean, there was a debate in my family. Now, from a young age, we would cook, and my mother will probably kill me, but he didn't mind her sweets, but he really didn't like her cooking. Now, he would ask us when he walked in the door, who's cooking tonight, because we would have turns. And if we told him mum, he would look at me and go, oh God. And we would be at the table, and she had no passion or love for that. That was not her passion. So it was very traditional. It was almost like English meals. The steak looked like it had been nuked. And his comment was, when she would ask if he liked his food, he would say, well, I'm eating it, aren't I? So it wouldn't be, he was never over the top with compliments. And it was like this comical sarcasm coming through with him. And very much, my twin is very much like that. So their energy in some shape or form, either behavioural, working ethics, aspects and attributes of that person will be very similar. My twin is very playful and at times childish, as well as arrogant. But they're usually the aspect of you wish you could be. So one of your parent figures will be an aspect of actually what you maybe didn't hold strong, that you indulged in, yet didn't hold energetically. So that's your role, is to step into that energy and hold the shadow side of yourself, which is actually the rebellious side. For those of you, you know, and that is really relevant for feminines, is that we do need to hold that balance. We do need to, what maybe inspired us connected to our father figure or our mother figure that maybe we were quite challenged by. What part don't you understand, Dale? Well, ultimately speaking, they become an aspect of your muse because you're looking at them thinking, wow, because you're attracted or intrigued by that aspect. There's some real interesting people on this world, honestly. Remove. How do I explain it? Okay, I was very serious growing up. So to me, I was very rigid with my belief system, very strict, very opinionated, very uptight. Many of my friends will tell you, that's how I was. Lots of points changed to a point where I was very, very open-minded. Open-minded to different people, different perceptions, still knowing my truth, but very much respecting other people's viewpoints, taking what applied, but then releasing it. I know. I was going to say, do you need some chakras for that? So there's some different ones out there. So in moving through that, having met twin, looking back at the parent figure who was a bit different, we tried to recreate a perfectness, but then it's not completely right either, because we may have been quite strict with our energy, maybe giving too much to other people, maybe feeling that if we gave, we would receive. True. Okay, so in giving, we thought we would receive, so we might have overcompensated and, gave too much, and then we had to take it back and go, hang on a minute, like, why am I not getting anything out of this? That, again, is an aspect of you working on your blocks, you looking at the fact that you felt due to childhood. Hi. Hi, Hardly, how are you? Okay, so for me personally, the aspect in my twin that I found intriguing was the immaturity, because I was very strict. I was like, no, I must be strict at all times. So I was an uptight bitch, quite frankly. And then at other times, there was the playful side, which was entertaining and getting in touch with our childlike character. The other aspect was the direct compassion and understanding, and very selective of the friendship groups. Again, relevant. So it depends on what you directly got from it then. That was what I got from it then. So that's what I applied in my life. So I try to hold the balance of both. Yeah. So, it's more than we think, but it is more directly connected to us and our spiritual growth. So when they say it's about your spiritual growth, you're going, fuck my spiritual growth. I want my twin flame. You know what I mean? But it's hurtful when we're going through that trigger point when you hear a video like that, because it is directly connected to ego. We're thinking, so what? This purpose is just for me to spiritually grow. Pretty much. Yes, there could be an outcome. Yes, there can be an outcome. But you need to reach that point. You need to work through your blocks. It's a spiritual contract. This was what you chose. This was why you are here and what you're needing to accomplish. Yes, you're going to have happiness. Yes, you're going to have love, but you need to have faith in that aspect. At times, you'll have tests coming through where people will help you question that aspect, and you go, oh my God, and you're getting an ego, and you go, it's never going to happen. Yes, it is. Oh, look, I definitely am a serial giver and not the brekkie type, the abundant type, okay? And now I'm open to receiving. I've learnt my worth. Any questions while I roll a smoke? My dad too. But again, you need to learn that that is okay for you to hear. And you need to be open to that and have that as an expectation. Have that as a requirement. The word I love you. Congratulations, Queen of Cups. Oh, no way, girl. High five. Big shout out for a twin union. I'm white lighting you. We directly do need a post out there where we can put one for twin flames and union. Because, really, somebody mentioned that the other day. How many of us white light yourself? Don't tune into it too much, Queen of Cups. All will flow as naturally needed. That's what I was actually saying to a particular friend of mine, and I won't name names. All of a sudden, she had an opportunity to travel. Now, if she does watch this video, she might mention it. Out of nowhere. And she was saying, how do I actually have this contact with my twin? They're a million bloody miles away. And I smiled at her. I went, you need to trust. And she's like, no, 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 you don't understand. They're there and I'm here. And it was literally continents. Well, she magically received a ticket yesterday and she was on a plane. Anytime, hun. And trust me, the purging and the growth does not stop just because you're in union. It does continue. And it is still a journey all the way through. So the energy will always be relevant to you. Stay tuned. Even within union, do I know how to clear black magic? You can cleanse yourself. You can meditate. Me personally, as a witch, no. But again, you can meditate in realm. I'll ask a girlfriend. I do know a particular person, and I'll get back to you on that. I'll do a video on it. Okay, from a home, physically smudge it. Smudge it, smudge it, smudge it. Do it for a week and place salt at your front door. Yeah, well, this other twin actually got a free ticket to go overseas, right where her twin is. How ironic. You need to trust in the process. The more you question, the more you're blocking it, because it's an aspect of ego, because control-related issues is an aspect of fucking ego. Let the shit go. Are you experiencing energies in the house, Queen of Cups? It may be connected to an item. Twins can't purge that. Inbox me. I'll have a chat to you about it. Mainly in the bedroom. Why am I seeing green? Are there green curtains in the bedroom? You might want to choose another bedroom. What color is that? Green. It is. So they are green? I will be doing a card reading as well. I'll just answer this question. Okay, it's connected. I don't know why. I'm seeing the green curtains. The room's very damp. Now, I'm not sure. What I'm visually seeing is when you walk in, the window's to the right, or, as you walk in the door, it's there and there's a wall. Is that correct? The window energy is where it's coming from. Yeah, if it does feel the window area, clean the windows back, because that can neutralize the energy. Open the windows and smudge it again. But I feel the carpet, it just feels, there is a heavy energy in that. Increase the lighting. Yeah, there's like, increase the lighting. Is there anything else in that room? Yeah, no mirrors in the room. Don't be doing mirrors, especially when you're a twin or you can channel, you'll find your feet are from your psychic portal through your feet. So try and, if it's something really old, it might be a physical item in the room. If it's not, it may be the energy in there. Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about that room. Did you tell him that Yildiz said no mirrors at the bottom of your feet? I did tell you that last time. I bet he was tired. I'm trying to look after myself. As divine feminines, nobody else will. It is our job to look after ourselves. And I have my beautiful friends on YouTube and my Skype friends and my 3D friends here in Perth. Look, a mirror in the room is okay to the left of you. To the base of you, no. No windows to the base of you, no open door frames to the base of your feet. Yeah, I would remove it from the home. Yeah. Because it holds old energy, stagnant energy, and mirrors can hold that energy as well. Clean the mirror, but ask him, has he felt tired? I probably wouldn't have a mirror in the room unless absolutely necessary. Yeah, it's due to the mirror. It's zapping his energy. Many of us, regardless, if that's been an ongoing thing, that's relevant, mirror connected, but many of us in the last week may have felt very fatigued. There you go. Okay, so I'll tune into some energies. It might not have been your twin, I'm not sure. Things can turn on and off, but no, I don't think so. Sometimes you can meet a person just prior to meeting twin that is similar to the twin frequency, and then after you meet them and you're like, ugh. What was that? I have met. Yeah, I have been sleeping a lot, but that could be iron related, but I think it's energetically. We're tired. The road is making us tired. Now, I don't want to discount the masculines if there are masculines on here, so don't think I'm being a bitch and I'm not thinking about you guys. I am. But this is as educational both ways. All right. What, going down a road? That's even worse. If your front door also is facing down a road, you're going to lose money. Feng shui. Yeah. You can, although I must say, if you do get into a connection, you can shut it off. You can switch the switch off, but at some time it'll wake up again because you're in control-related dynamics of ego. Yes, I will do those videos connected to that. I have been flat out. I've had so much happening, but I will be doing energy-related videos connected to toxicity, blocks, purging, and all of that subject. I do still need to do the energy connected to children of the indigos. So, and I won't really put it in a bracket of what they are, but children in general, energetically, how they're dealing with twins and how they're directly working with twins at the moment, because a lot of us are having trigger points connected to children, how they're understanding the dynamic. So I'm going to be doing a video about that. Healing. Purging is basically dealing with a block in your life and it coming up like an emotional wound. So processing, detoxifying hurts. One way you could describe purging. It's many things, really. Indigos can be extremely in tune, connected to vibrations and feelings. Twins. Also, some of them can be very psychic. What else? You can see the world very differently. Too many things, really. But yeah, you feel vibrations heavily, so you see the world differently. Sometimes you could be deemed as ADHD children or difficult children. It can be many things. True that. I'm with you there. It's energetic energy. Different. Yeah, it's almost like you feel growing up. That's another aspect of being a twin. You'll feel like the black sheep of the family. Okay, twins for me. What do we need to know? And I also may start doing the videos where I do them separate, because we do need to start focusing on ourselves. Although I will do a joint one, I am going to start doing videos connected to feminine and masculine, so we can focus the energy back on ourselves for spiritual growth, because that's where the process comes from. And if we don't keep focusing on ourselves, regardless of union or not, or choosing not to, wherever that be in our life, your spiritual growth will be hindered, and your forward motion and connection aspect will be hindered. So we do need to focus back on self. When you get to a point where there might be lack of contact, etc., you need to heavily invest in self and change the frequency and just be aligned correctly, that it is all geared to protect you. Most of the younger generation are going to start having huge psychic abilities. So when they say to you they're having bad dreams, you need to listen to what they're saying. There is a video on my channel that is connected to indigos and children. There is something to do with their sleep. So have a look at it. Again, I don't really deem it as sleep paralysis. I directly connect it to an out-of-body experience, but, you know, society would deem it differently. I've had that before, but generally that's when spirits come to me and they wish to communicate with me, which is real shit. I've had out-of-body experiences where I've been above myself. Had an operation once and I was watching the doctor, and I was actually very, very cross at them because they were having a normal conversation like they were chopping up meat while they were listening to a really bad song. Yeah, look, with my aspects of it, generally I'll wake up at 3 and I will know something is in the room. That can be the shadow people, which you can Google that. That's dark energies going up the wall. And I had that from a very young age. There can also be physical 3D beings, which it looks like a dead person passed over, but their face may be discoloured or blue, but you know they physically can see you. Yeah, Pisces I'm going to do next, love. I'm sorry for the delay. It's been pretty hectic with this internet. So, yeah, and you know energetically they're in the room because the room freezes. It feels like the pause button's been there. It goes on and off at the correct time. So your gift will still be there. It's just because you're dealing with blocks, it shuts off till you directly deal with them to be open to it. So it hasn't gone away. It just has switched off because you're focusing your energy on a different area, which is more 3D than 5D. Yes, you can. Okay, so spiritual attacks or psychic attacks or 3D attacks reaching close union, yes, because energetically, negative sides of things do not want the frequency to change, so you'll be triggered. But it's triggered in a good way, not just a bad way. Triggered in a good way to make you fight for the connection, if you're strong enough. Do you ever sleep, Mark? I knew you'd be awake. I'll wait it up for you guys. What time is it? 12 o'clock. Okay. Wow. We're only at an hour 10. Now, which ones am I going to use? I'll use these ones. Let's get tucked into this. Okay, I've done feminine and masculine energy and the energy in between you. 12 noon in Michigan. Well, it's 12 midnight in Perth, Australia, in the land down under. Mark, I'm still having internet-related dynamics. It's kind of a theme, really. Maybe it's connected to TF. 5 p.m. Gee, did I wake you up? Okay, what is this for masculine? Okay, masculine isn't owning their power at the moment. Oh, it must be how much I love you, really. Okay, their first card is solar plex chakra in reverse. Anytime, doll. Oh. Masculines, for fuck's sakes. Now, this for them is going to be a bit of a process. Now, we've got to think back energetically and supportively that for their life, for them to come to a place where, although I'm getting another message, let me tell you why. I'll tune into what's going on first. Might be reaching union, though. Okay, generally speaking, when we have blocks, although we are in an aspect this month, I may do a mid-month video, but if you're wanting the direct guidance connected to your twin, you will need to book a reading because every energy will be different. Now, I will not tell you timing. If there's a synchronicity connected to that, I can help you with it. Now, somebody gave me a reading ages ago, and they said to me a relevant energy of movement in my personal life would happen in August. Now, what year that is divinely guided. So I still believe that energy to be relevant, but it hasn't transpired as yet. So there can be snippets. A person, and this is how psychic gifts work. You can tune into the direct person. You can tune into the aspects of what they're experiencing, feeling. As per se conversations, I can give you a gist of maybe mentally what they're working through. What else can I do? I can show you the energies of what they're directly working with right now and how they're dealing with the blocks and moving through it. I can deal with past over loved ones and the messages that they're having, the relevant energies of what's going on. So, but if you're wanting timing, intuitively, you always need to trust your personal gut because your twin and you, I can help you channel. Yeah, but as I said, like, I can give you the direct guidance, but you have to follow your intuition. Energies can shift. Now, I will tell you, things have come at left field for many of us from February through to now, where the energy, I did look at the videos. Sorry, I did look at the videos on YouTube, and a lot of that energy will change. So it may be aspects of our blocks that we're physically having instead of the actual relevancy of what's coming through. And I'll have to explain that in a separate video when I'm not breaking out. So when I say that, in the video, if you have a fair-based situation going on and you're cross-watching, what's going to happen this month is what you're seeing in the video might be an aspect of your fear, not a reality. So because we are in an aspect of ego this month, there could be a lot of aspects of crosswise. So take it if it causes a trigger, purge it, deal with it, and release it, but don't take it as gospel. Does that make sense? Because we're very triggered this month. Okay, so masculine for their movement forward. Okay, it is safe for you to be powerful and take charge of your life in a positive way. They know that there's a block happening right now, and they know the coast is not clear. They're really nutting over how to directly deal with it and how to do it in a very safe manner. So something in their life they know needs to end but can't right now, or it isn't energy that's going to be with them for the rest of their life, but they need to work out how to manage it and how to bring balance and how to directly deal with it. They're doing the work on it at the moment, and they're processing how to deal with it. It is an area that is really killing them. So universe does three things. It gives them the aha moment, which is what they're doing, that they're like in it. It also gives them a trigger point of noticing, Houston, we have a problem, and then they're forced to do the work. If they don't, universe takes divine intervention if that's energetically, so that they're needing to move out of that. Now, clear, cancel, and delete is in reverse. So some things they can't as yet because there's no room to do that. And why? I'll find out. It might be they're stuck. This can be from a financial aspect. And I'll pull some chakra cards. Because there's a falseness. They're going to have to take off a mask or look at it for what it really is. And they're learning something about a situation they're directly dealing with, that it's false-based. And they are changing, okay? It is going to change. Now, they're going to get some downloads connected to this. Now, the downloads can be they're physically going to go and get a reading. They might watch a video. They may get to a point where they actually use their intuition. Many signs, and especially twins, are very psychic. Their intuition is their direct gift. So it can be that they're actually going to gain some clarity connected to this. It is going to make them happy, this clarity. It can be a loved one passed over that gives them messages and gut instincts, or comes into their dreams. It can be you, masculine or feminine energy, depending on who holds what, entering into their dreams, helping them gain that clarity and support for their road. It's because something's not coming together that they're realizing this, and they may be releasing something. They are waiting for the correct time to do this. They're wanting to be happy. I don't know. I don't smoke it. Oh, look, many people say that you shouldn't read while drinking alcohol. It depends on your energy frequency. For me personally, I generally channel a lot better. Does it put me at risk? Yes, because if I don't white light myself, energetically speaking, I'm more open to risks and absorbing your direct energy, which can impact me the next day. So if that directly, helps. But you are more prone to spiritual attacks during the channeling or after. So white light yourself after, wash with chakra salts, smudge yourself, and you should be all cool. Okay, they're losing hope in a situation they're directly dealing with. Now, I'll leave that energy at the minute. Now, for you, feminines, I'll come back to them in a minute. I know you're curious. Be willing to forgive. Okay? Yourself, the situation, the path, or the given situation of what you're currently going through. Now, release the energy of trying to do everything. Okay, this can be that you're feeling you have to be masculine and feminine. Where you need help, ask whomever it may be from. Be open to the fact that you can step into your feminine energy again. It's a temporary energy. It is moving, but you need to focus the energy back on self. Oh, this is fucked. Okay. And hey, I'm reading from the cards, okay? These are extra energies for me too. Cut the cord. in reverse. I think it's self-explanatory. Why? Because you're not home. Almost home. That's an arsehole there. Okay. You're waiting for the treasure. You're waiting for things to balance. You're waiting for abundance. And it's funny because this is a golden box, right? They're holding a golden box. It's like the joke's on us. So, okay. They're holding a golden box, right? Hey, Laurie. Now, it's in reverse. So you feel your gifts and blessings have been stolen. The Rihanna song, bitch better have my money, right? Oh, my God. When you watch this video again, lady, you know who I'm talking to. I did mention, do you want to share your positive story of what's going through with you? You know who I'm talking to. I was getting your nails done. Okay, so are you going to tell everyone where you are and what your potluck was? I was sharing an aspect, but I was keeping you kind of anonymous. It's up to you. I mean, do share if you care to. We've had one good story here tonight. Oh, and has it been a surprise out of nowhere? Congratulations, Divine Evolution. There you go. Okay, so this is the other Divine Feminine that has had, out of nowhere, a direct trip going overseas connected to where a particular person is. Like, woo-woo! There you go. So, okay, examples, people. It's divinely guided. Trust in the process. 2 good stories. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, now, where you are asked to forgive yourself, the dynamic, your path, the world, and you're tired of being maybe a masculine energy, you're asked to have faith, okay? Your life is moving. It is changing. Have some faith. You're tired of thinking about it, though, and that's okay. Take a break. Get out of your head. Go and do something different. You want to gain clarity? Book a reading. You know, and I can tune into this is a collective energy, your personal energy and what your path is, and the things that come at left field, this can't tune into it. You best have a good time. Be in the moment and be open. Okay, where you're being asked not to cut the cord, and this is for your spiritual growth as well, right? It's because you're not home yet on that path. And communication will be coming. And look, when I say communication, this is another thing we have to understand. It can be a frigging conversation. It can be a download. It can be a dream. It can be through the grapevine. It's communication as such, okay? Yes, I surely will. Now, put that back in. I'm going to shuffle again because I don't know what way it come up. You might be, but it's all divinely guided and you haven't quit yet. Okay, what is this? Okay, some situations are getting old, but communication's getting in about an aspect of misfortune they've experienced. Okay? Now, with the golden box and, you know, the prize at the end of that rainbow that you as yet have not received, due to a fact that maybe somebody else has it over you, and you're going, pick me, pick me. Okay, you're tired of being a slave to this journey. And a slave to the purging. But this is a card of 2 things. Okay. Now, your energy has matured. You are looking at the situation maturely. Also, if you're wondering if there's another child connected coming, it's no. But that can be for you too. Now, the energy in between you, you're not using the laws of attraction. You're not understanding that a block is a temporary block. And I'll pull a clarifier on that. It's a temporary block. When we are pausing, if we're in ego, which is difficult because this month is related to ego and us personally. It actually prevents us utilizing the aspects of the law of attraction. I mean, do you wish for abundance? Are you open to receiving? Are you doing your spiritual work? What is going on with you? Ah, interesting. Okay, well, I pulled 2 cards, and it's got feminine and masculine energy. Now, feminines, while you are... Okay. Mark, you do this, and it makes me amused. Okay, what's this shielding yourself? Interesting. Okay, 2 cards fell down on the laws of attraction in reverse. One is an aspect of feminine energy being down about the situation and emotionally going back. And this is a relevant energy as well. What you need to understand is you can't move forward with a block. Now, the block that we're dealing with right now is a major one. You need to key point where that major block is for you. And for some of you, it might be pick me, pick you, you pick you. Okay, now, this is the energy you're letting go of so you can physically move forward. While you're in this energy, the energy that you are wanting the masculine energy to step into is the work they're doing right now. So while you're up in your head, they're stepping into divine masculine. Now, the next card, the energy in between, is to shield yourself. Now, if you need to go into hermit mode, you need to do such. If you need to spiritually do the work and purge, you may feel energetically it's safer to do it at a distance. For those of you in union and you're doing that, well, again, keep yourself grounded, be in your power, do the work, and things will flow. Now, the shielding yourself, protect yourself against fear-based energies, okay? They're the things that are going to really push us. And again, we're in an aspect of ego. I would say to the mid-month, about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, now, they are coming out, both of you, of a prison connected to your fears controlling you. And that's really ironic considering I have said this month is about Mayday. We're going through an aspect of ego. A major block is being removed from our lives. So spiritually speaking, regardless if you choose to be in union or you don't, you are coming out of a mental prison and it's giving you freedom to move forward. Now, cutting the cord, it's saying spiritually it's truthful. I mean, this is relevant. You can never cut the cord. You are directly connected. It's a soul contract. But you are emotional and full of melancholia. But you want to move forward. If you're deciding and choosing, and that is such where you're moving into a connection with your twin, what you need to get is... how do I put it? You can't take that baggage with you because it is going to be a new energy. You literally need to. The melancholia is your whole journey. So many of us over the last few months have been saying, do you know how long I've been at this journey for? Fuck yeah, since before birth. Okay, this reality is you can't take that with you, because that is an old paradigm. You need to release it. It's a fresh slate. You in your life personally, where you are, where you're going, it needs to be a fresh slate. This video is so long. I'm tired of talking. I love you guys though. Offer. Now, I do feel for many of you, it is going to be a left or right. But I do feel this is your masculine energy. I don't feel it's another. The frequency is changing. Now, it may be that they're changing their frequency because you're sad and you're doing some purging. But it may be jealousy connected to that externally. But that, again, is changing. You can see that their transition is changing. They're stuck. They're dealing with a block. You guys are dealing with aspects of, you know, things going wrong, wondering if you're going to get old, wondering if, you know, misfortunes are going to keep coming. But ultimately speaking, it is changing. Okay. Feminines. What is the outcome? Oh, God. Okay, you need to paint the best picture. And again, that's funny because the first card with the energy in between you is about the aspect of manifestation. Manifestation being in reverse. Now, your first card that you've got is the world wants to be painted. And again, that is an aspect of manifestation on your part. What do you want for your future? It's your future. What do you physically want? You're also not wanting to be a fool. You're feeling the energy is on the other side, not in your ball court. So you're doing your work. And you're open to receiving, which is where you need to be. You need to be open to receiving and balancing your heart chakra. Okay. They're going through an aspect of ascension, but it is taking a while because they're directly blocked and they're very stuck in the 3D. Okay, they're working out and not getting that who they're with is not twin. They're working that out. But again, we all have choices. Okay, they also do need to heal, but they're unable to do that right now. But they're bringing something into form, and it might be them moving into the light. Okay, this card is about them actually, okay, be the hunter, not the hunted. They've got that in reverse. It's like they're waiting for something to change, and they're going on a spiritual journey. Now, I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. And we'll check the energy back in 2 weeks. Otherwise, if you are wanting a booking, I can do a booking and tune into your direct energy because every twin will have a separate kind of dynamic, personally speaking. Although this is the general aspect of it. Okay, they're seeing the truth, so they're not acting on it until they can gain the clarity, which is fair enough. Okay, so the journey is directly connected to feminine. They're realizing it's a spiritual connection. Okay, any questions? Twin flames as a collective. But to tune heavy into your situation, you would need a private reading. And I can help you work with your blocks as well. Especially when we're really challenged. Like if you are really, really triggered, I can do emergency readings for you. And we can kind of work through that block. Any questions? Different country, culture, big age gap. What about it? Why does it terrify you? Deal with the energy, vision for you and me. Just deal with it, process it. A twin will do that. Any other questions, guys? Never chase. Yeah, never chase. Release. It's the old saying. How do they put it? If a bird, set the bird free, if it truly loves you, it will return. That's a reality. You would never want to feel that you need to trap a person, because ultimately speaking, you'd never receive your truth. People are telling me he's gone, marry the girl. White light yourself and let it flow naturally. Release. Does the collective energy help me too? Yeah and no, because we all have our own spiritual path. I think the longer I've been on this journey, which is really sucky, not that I'm ungrateful for it, because it's helped me emotionally and spiritually evolve as a human being. That really has benefited my life. You each will hold your own energies and perceptions. So sometimes I'll get these downloads ahead of time. We're all in different brackets, be it we're coming into union, or directly dealing with the energies. I mean, mine returned to a karmic in the last 2 weeks. I mean, most people having dealing with that wouldn't be on YouTube. So I think spiritually I've evolved past that point where I have that aspect of unconditional and understanding. So I think I'm doing pretty good. Sorry. It's whatever's going on with this shadow period at the moment. I don't think it's anything to do with the internet, because this is the computer. I can just do my best. Anyone else having a pause with it? Yeah, look, it's the shadow period. So all of us, be it on our side or my side, we're going to have issues depending on your location. Sorry. I'll try not to touch the table. Any other questions? The further along in the journey you will get to a place where, it is very much a choice, because you will be a singular energy. And the more you work on yourself, you'll find that it does come to a place where it is a spiritual choice. So energetically, you'll still get the downloads. You'll still receive the frequencies, but it will be a personal choice. And it'll be more, you will be your own person. And very much that's uniquely where you need to get to. That, a bit like the Beyonce song, you bought it. You wanted something, you went out and got it. You wanted to go on holiday, you went and did that. When you want to mix with your friends and you have your own personal circle and you have your own personal dreams, they're relevant energies. They're things that you need to. But again, it can be where you're in those old aspects of ways of doing things, especially connected to childhood and twin. You would have got into a way of doing things where you gave your power away. And it's not that that's a bad thing. That can be a choice thing. That's purely up to you. But you may come to a way of being that is so very difficult to go back over old ground and be that person. And it may be very strange for certain people to get used to the new you, that you simply can't do that. And so for me personally, I would be the person that would get, shoes out, socks, jocks, chain and ball at the sink, but still hold masculine and feminine energy. And really, a lot of that for me personally has changed because I wouldn't go and see my friends. I mean, my old energy it was politically incorrect to go and sleep at a girlfriend's house because I was in a connection. That aspect has really changed. I would really go through phones and feel it was my right to do that. And although my twin has gone to a karmic, I directly still will not change that vibration. That's me to the core. I don't feel the need to micromanage another human being. We all individually are responsible for our own choices. So do you get my gist? It's like, don't get triggered by an ego-based situation. Release. If somebody wants to go, you need to let them go. And you will have a very beautiful, fulfilling life and what do you mean you're confused about what part, doll? What part are you confused about? Yeah, I'm drinking cold tea. I don't even I got called out the other day. Somebody was saying to me, why are you calling them a lady? Because they're a human being. And I actually feel bad for them. But they chose the spiritual path. So, yeah. Any other questions? Got to be up at the crack of dawn tomorrow because I'm getting a rent inspection. You're confusing me, Mark. I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, this is the way you got to look at it. And I'm just going to be really fucking blunt. Think of the time when you have been intimate with your twin. That's your personal truth. It is not about an intimate act. So it's a spiritual connection. Am I right? You need to get out of that aspect of a competition because the twin flame journey is about self. I'm glad. I'm glad you feel more grounded now. This is the joy of reading those. We'll have a reading and then 2-3 days later we'll be going, okay, have a very good night or very good morning wherever you are in this world. Try and keep positive. If you get unhinged, you can book a reading. I'll give you a hand. I can do emergency readings. As soon as you message me, I can get back to you. I do take my phone with me everywhere. I'm a workaholic, but it's for my spiritual growth as well and my livelihood because this is my bread and butter. Because it become quite a challenging, reading base. And if you're feeling generous and wish to donate, you can go through to the website because I'm working on heart chakra. I surely will, guys. So you look after yourselves. Be gentle with yourselves. Focusing on self. Love and light. Bye.